Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time to strike. They are weak. They can't decide on a lane, and they can't decide if the candidates at the head of those lanes are genuine or not. And they're not. They are all frauds. Here is James Carville, noted Democrat political strategist, nicknamed the Ragin' Cajun. Here is Carville on MSNBC saying, listen, Democrats, it's panic time. We're in a lot of trouble. And he brings up a point about the Iowa caucus disaster, which we covered yesterday. We'll bring up a little bit again today. Of course, the disaster is that we still don't know who won the Iowa caucus because the Democrats couldn't even manage an app, and then their backup hotline failed, and then they asked people to text pictures of their results, which is so ridiculous. The central planner Democrats who want to run your healthcare system entirely collapsed yesterday in a simple caucus, couldn't even report results. But one of the things left out in the analysis and the complete chaos was, Joe, voter turnout, which we've been told by the media establishment, voter turnout, Democrats hate Trump. Turnout's going to be incredible. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be record turnout. Going to be people jumping over each other to vote. Turnout wasn't that great. Listen to Carville talk about it.
There are other things that worry me. Apparently, the turnout in Iowa was not what I would expect it, other people would expect it. I know the numbers are still coming in, but people are telling me it's more like 2016, 2018. The polling averages have not been very good the last 10 days. And I've seen some pretty good polls that show enthusiasm among Democrats is not as high as we might like it. So there's something as people are watching this process that is concerning them. I do want to take the chance to congratulate Mayor Pete and his staff. That was a remarkable night that they had in Des Moines. But I think this is not going particularly well so far.
You don't need to hear it from me. You may say, Dan, I get this email. Why do you put on so many Democrats? Because, folks, is that not what we're doing here? I mean, what do we do? We're putting on No. Is that not what we're doing here? Like, the purpose of this show, and it's always been the purpose of my show, has been to give you the mental ammunition, as Joe always says, everything you need in an hour, to go out and fight the fight. That's all I'm about. The show is never about the money. It's not, listen, we get paid well. I'm not going to lie to you or spin your wheels. It was never about that. Joe and I did the show for what, 3 years before we ever sold this commercial? I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Go listen to our early library on SoundCloud. Notice there's no commercials? That's because I paid for the show.
Right.
This show has always been about giving you busy American citizens that work for a living who don't have the time to do this job I've been playing. You don't. You have to go to work. You have to take care of your kids. My goal has always been to give you in an hour the ammunition you need to fight the good fight for freedom and liberty. And that is not a damn campaign sign. I mean every word of that. If we don't get into the Democrats' heads, then what's the point? This is a prominent, make no mistake, Democrat strategist who's had his finger on the pulse of the Democrat Party for a very long time saying, we are in real trouble now. This means something. What does it mean? It means turn the heat up now. Impeachment's blown up in their face. The economy is motoring. The president has had a litany of policy successes. Supreme Court justices appointed, federal appellate and circuit court judges appointed, regulatory reform, an exploding economy, middle-class wages rising. This is the time to pile on. And it's also the time to pile on because, as I've explained to you repeatedly, both on Fox and here on my show, every single election has 3 lanes to victory. 3. And the best candidate in the best lane, because the lane can be dictated by the larger political circumstances of the time. I'll explain that in a second. The best candidate in the best lane will take the nomination for that party. Those 3 lanes are the establishment lane, the radical lane, and the outsider lane. Every election has one. Everyone. You tell me an election, I'll tell you who the candidate in each lane was. Donald Trump, of course, it's obvious, in the 2016 election, filled the outsider lane. Now, there's a dynamic here. And you may say, well, where are we going with this? I'm trying to tell you why the Democrats right now are in deep, deep trouble. They are trying to defeat the president with the best candidate in one of those lanes. Ladies and gentlemen, candidate-wise, the only candidates who will win in their lane are candidates who exemplify what the lane means. If you're the establishment candidate, you damn well better be the safe pick. If you're the radical candidate, then you damn well better be a radical. And if you're an outsider candidate, you damn well better be an outsider. Trump was an outsider, zero doubt. Love him or hate him, there was no disputing that. He was not a political insider, period, full stop. You saying otherwise makes you look like an idiot, not us. Well, what's the problem with the Democrats? The problem with the Democrats is they don't know what they want and what lane they want to go. And the candidates at the head of each lane, pay close attention to this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, I'm not wrong. Self-praise stinks, but this is some good analysis here. I'm telling you. The problem is the Democrats haven't decided what lane they want. And the candidates at the head of each of those lanes don't fit the brand at all. On that first point, the Republican Party clearly in 2016, Joe, had committed to, we've had enough BS. We've tried your Republican tricks for a while. You're going to cut spending, all that. You're not doing any of it. And we want an outsider outside of the swamp who's going to shake things up.
Right.
They committed to it. After Cruz won Iowa, that was it. It was a landslide after that. It was obvious. The Republicans had committed to the outsider lane. That's where they wanted to go. And President Trump was, in fact, a genuine outsider. But that's not where the Democrat Party is, Joe. The passion and the turnout, although albeit rather low, it wasn't low amongst the younger voters and others who support who? Oh, not the safe pick. They support Bernie, the radical.
Bernie. Mm-hmm.
But then there's a wing of the party like, no, we got to toss them all out, and we need an outsider. Let's go with Mayor Pete, who appears to have won the Iowa caucus. We'll probably never know, but they should draw straws at this point. Sorry. When Paula laughs, I realize it must be funny because she never laughs at anything I say. Do you think it was funny? There's some feedback for the audience on that one.
Straws, yeah. Iowa, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even catch that. Nice. Very nice. Good. Well done. So on point number one, the Democrats haven't made a decision, unlike the Republicans in 2016, collectively about what lane is important. But number two, all of the lanes are led by frauds. Mayor Pete is not an outsider. He's a failed mayor of South Bend who's been trying to obtain political office his entire life. Bernie is not, in fact, a radical. He's a multimillionaire who rails against millionaires and billionaires. You are the worst. We don't like millionaires and billionaires. But where's my checkbook? Let me write that $1 million check for my third new home. He's a fraud. He's a total fraud. He's no radical. And the safe pick, number 3 lane, Joe Biden, isn't safe at all. The dude doesn't even know what state he's in. He's like, welcome to Iowa, sir. This is Ohio. Welcome to Canada, sir. This is the United States. He doesn't even know where he is. He doesn't even know what country he's in. He's like, it's great to be in New Hampshire, sir. This is Vermont. Whatever, same thing. He doesn't even know. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time to strike. They are weak. They can't decide on a lane. And they can't decide if the candidates at the head of those lanes are genuine or not. And they're not. They are all frauds.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.